The tragic story of King Harris has shaken the world, transforming what many once saw as youthful recklessness into a desperate fight for survival. King, the son of legendary rapper T.I., is now lying in a hospital bed after a savage attack inside jail left him clinging to life. Doctors were forced into performing emergency brain surgery when a devastating blow to his head caused catastrophic injuries. That surgery, meant to give him a chance, has instead placed him in an even darker condition. King has slipped into a coma and has yet to open his eyes, his life hanging by the thinnest thread. The next 48 hours are described by doctors as critical, a fragile window where either a miracle will occur or the damage will prove irreversible. Those words alone have created a storm of fear and sorrow that has spread far beyond the hospital walls, gripping fans, friends, and family alike. The scene outside the intensive care unit is heartbreaking. T.I. has been pacing back and forth with his head in his hands, struggling to hold back tears, while Tiny has collapsed more than once, overcome by the sight of her son fighting for his life. Family members stand nearby, their eyes red and swollen, whispering prayers and begging for strength. Witnesses who have seen these moments describe them as a family watching their world fall apart in real time. Inside the hospital, the atmosphere is thick with sorrow and disbelief, while outside, a sea of fans has gathered, holding signs, chanting, and pleading with God to give King another chance. Online, hashtags like #pray for King Harris have gone viral, with millions across the world posting their own words of support, hoping that their voices somehow reach the boy lying unconscious in his hospital bed. But the story doesn't end with grief alone. It is tangled in shadows of betrayal, suspicion, and conspiracy. Almost immediately after news of the attack broke, whispers began spreading that this was not just a random prison fight. Sources from inside the facility claim that King was deliberately targeted, ambushed by inmates who were sent to silence him. The reason? According to these reports, King had stumbled onto secrets too dangerous to ignore. Knowledge about powerful gangs operating inside prison walls, smuggling operations, and corruption that reached further than most dared to imagine. If true, this wasn't violence born out of impulse. It was an execution attempt disguised as a brawl. The theories only grow darker when another name begins surfacing repeatedly: Boosie's camp. Rumors allege that tensions between King and the rapper's circle had been building for months. Scandals involving King had spilled online, damaging reputations and igniting rivalries. Some insiders claim the attack was revenge, an attempt to remove him before he could cause further chaos. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but the leaks are loud enough that the tragedy has already snowballed into one of the most talked about scandals in recent hip-hop history. The streets are buzzing, online forums are dissecting every detail, and fans are drawing connections between rivalries, gangs, and even corrupt prison staff. One chilling detail that has fueled the fire is the report that surveillance cameras inside the prison mysteriously went offline just minutes before King was attacked. To many, this was no coincidence. It was a sign of orchestration, of a system working together to ensure the assault happened without evidence. Even more disturbing are allegations that guards left their posts around King's block right before the incident, almost as if they knew what was coming. Whistleblowers have added fuel by claiming this was never about a fight. It was about sending a message and making sure King stayed silent forever. Meanwhile, the Harris family has been shattered in front of the entire world. T.I., a man known for his confidence and presence, has broken down publicly, lashing out at hospital staff and demanding answers from prison authorities about how such an attack could take place in a supposedly secure facility. Tiny has been described as inconsolable, whispering through tears that all she wants is her son back. Friends close to the family have admitted they are preparing for the worst, even as they cling to any sliver of hope. The hip-hop industry has also been shaken to its core. Rappers, producers, and celebrities have flooded social media with messages of love and support. But beneath the surface, many are hinting that the situation goes far deeper than one young man's tragedy. Some suggest the incident could unravel an underworld of rivalries, corruption, and politics that few dare to expose. Others point the finger back at T.I. himself, accusing him of failing his son, of pushing King into the spotlight for clout while ignoring the dangers closing in. One brutal comment online summed up the sentiment of many critics. T.I. fed his son to the wolves, and now he's shocked the wolves ate him. At its core, this story is not just about a boy lying in a hospital bed. It is a collision of fame, family, power, and betrayal. King Harris has gone from being a controversial figure, known for his antics, to becoming the center of a tragedy that has paralyzed the hip-hop world. Even if he survives, doctors have warned that the scale of his brain injuries could mean permanent damage. The haunting reality is that he may never be the same again. He could lose memory, speech, or even remain trapped in a vegetative state for the rest of his life. For a young man with his whole future ahead, the weight of this possibility is crushing. As T.I. and Tiny beg the world for prayers, the questions pile higher. How could this happen inside a facility meant to protect inmates? Was it truly a random act of prison violence, or was it a murder plot executed in plain sight? And perhaps most chilling of all, what did King know that made him so dangerous to others? Until answers arrive, all anyone can do is wait and pray, knowing that each second passing inside that hospital room could mean the difference between life and death. The storm surrounding King Harris has only grown darker as each hour passes without signs of improvement. His coma has become more than a medical crisis. It has turned into the centerpiece of a conspiracy that refuses to die. Inside the ICU, silence reigns, broken only by the hum of machines and the occasional sob of his devastated family. But outside those hospital walls, chaos is raging. Crowds have gathered holding candles, posters, and banners demanding justice. Online, hashtags like #justice for King and Hash, who planned this trend worldwide, echoing the disbelief and fury of millions who refuse to accept the official narrative of a random prison fight. The explanation is collapsing under the weight of leaked reports and suspicious details that point towards something far more sinister. Prison insiders have already come forward with alarming claims. They say that in the moments leading up to the assault, surveillance footage inexplicably vanished and guards abandoned their posts. One whistleblower described it bluntly. It was like they knew it was coming and didn't care, or worse, they wanted it to happen. Then came a leaked voice note allegedly from someone inside the prison, revealing that a bounty had been placed on King's head. The voice insisted this wasn't about a petty fight, but a calculated message. King was silenced because he was about to expose something big. What that something is remains uncertain, but whispers suggest it could involve the exposure of powerful gangs, smuggling rings, and bribery networks operating within the prison. Others go further, hinting that the rap industry itself might be entangled, with King threatening to reveal secrets that could bring careers and empires crashing down. The name Boosie, or Boozy as some leaks spell it, keeps re-emerging. Multiple threads online link his camp to the incident, pointing to past humiliations and scandals involving King that supposedly damaged reputations and sparked grudges. Memes, conspiracy breakdowns, and viral videos are circulating non-stop, painting a picture of a feud that may have escalated into attempted murder. Whether these theories hold truth or not, they have already shaped the narrative, fueling a storm that grows louder with each passing day. To millions watching, this is no longer an accident. It is an assassination attempt carried out under the watch of a corrupt system. Meanwhile, the Harris family is crumbling under unbearable pressure. T.I., once known for his composure and strength, is a shell of himself, reportedly lashing out in frustration and grief at medical staff, demanding answers they cannot provide. Tiny has barely left the hospital since the attack, surviving on little more than coffee and tears, constantly at her son's bedside. Their other children are struggling quietly in the shadows, grieving while watching the internet dissect their brother's tragedy with merciless commentary. Online, the cruelty is relentless. While many fans are sending prayers, others are hurling accusations, blaming T.I. and Tiny for raising King in chaos, for exploiting his controversies for fame, and for ignoring the warning signs of danger building around him. One viral post read, "They raised him in drama, fed him to fame, and now act surprised that fame destroyed him." As if the pain of losing a son weren't enough, a new twist has dragged the Harris family deeper into the storm. Some bloggers now accuse them of hiding something, using King's tragedy as a distraction from financial troubles and lawsuits allegedly lurking in the background. Screenshots of supposed court documents and private messages have surfaced, suggesting that the family has been battling crises behind the scenes. The implication, according to these theorists, is that King's suffering may have been conveniently magnified to overshadow their other scandals. Whether baseless or not, the allegations have left the family fighting not only for their son's life but also for their reputation. The narrative spins out of control by the hour. Every day, new leaks emerge, new theories appear, and new accusations surface. Social media timelines are flooded with speculation, from prison staff involvement to industry conspiracies. And all the while, King lies motionless, his body serving as the silent centerpiece of a war being fought with words, rumors, and suspicions. Doctors remain grim in their updates, reminding everyone that the next day or two will be critical. If his brain fails to show signs of recovery, the damage may be irreversible, leading to lifelong consequences or worse. Despite the chaos, sparks of hope continue to shine through. Prayer circles have formed outside the hospital, churches are holding vigils, and fans across the globe light candles in King's name. Videos of children praying for him have gone viral, touching millions of hearts and uniting strangers in a shared wish for his survival. These displays of solidarity stand in stark contrast to the venom of conspiracy theorists and critics. They prove that amid all the noise, countless people still see King as a young man whose life matters, not just a headline or scandal. Yet the haunting reality remains that if King does not wake up, this tragedy could ignite something far worse than grief. Rumors of retaliation are already swirling across social media. Rival camps in the rap industry are trading subliminal threats, with one chilling anonymous post reading, "If the prince falls, the kingdom burns." The implication is clear. King's death would not end the story. It would set off a chain reaction of violence, revenge, and bloodshed that could shake the industry and the streets alike. The Harris family lives in constant terror, watching the clock tick down while struggling to hold themselves together under the spotlight. A father drowning in guilt, a mother begging for prayers, siblings lost in the chaos, and an entire world watching closely, eager to see whether this story ends in miracle or tragedy. The hospital itself has transformed into a stage where whispers of corruption, conspiracy, and betrayal echo louder than the beeping machines keeping King alive. It is no longer just about one young man fighting for survival. It has become a symbol of something much larger, the collision of fame, crime, and power, exposing how fragile life becomes when trapped in the crossfire of dangerous forces. As the days drag on, one chilling truth becomes clearer. Even if King survives, nothing will ever be the same again. The secrets surrounding his attack will not fade. They will haunt the family, the industry, and the millions of people watching. long after this crisis ends. For now, hope remains, but it is fragile, weighed down by grief, anger, and a storm of unanswered questions. The hospital corridors surrounding King Harris feel like a war zone of whispers, prayers, and unbearable tension. Every second stretches like an eternity as his family waits for a sign, any sign, that he will wake up from the coma. The steady beeping of machines has become the cruel soundtrack of this nightmare, reminding everyone that while his body fights, his future is slipping away. Late last night, doctors delivered yet another grim update. The swelling in King's brain had not subsided, and if there was no response within the next 24 hours, the damage could be permanent. For the family, it was not just medical jargon. It was a countdown, a dagger to the heart signaling the slow death of hope. Tiny collapsed to the floor upon hearing the words, screaming through tears that she could not bury her child. The raw moment, captured by cameras, spread like wildfire online, breaking the hearts of even those who had once criticized King's behavior. What makes this tragedy even more unbearable is that it is not unfolding privately, but in front of the entire world. Crowds continue to gather outside the hospital, some holding prayer circles, others waving posters demanding justice and answers. On social media, hashtags like #PrayForKingHarris and #KingComa dominate platforms, each post echoing the desperation of millions. Yet alongside the prayers, a darker wave of commentary thrives. Conspiracy theorists and critics feast on every update, spinning the tragedy into viral content. Some accuse T.I. himself of orchestrating his son's suffering, claiming he sacrificed King to cover up his own scandals. One viral video bluntly declared, "This isn't an accident, it's karma catching up." As if the family's suffering wasn't already unbearable, another shocking twist rocked the narrative. A leaked medical report suggested that traces of a mysterious toxin had been found in King's system, something unrelated to the beating he endured. Off-the-record comments from doctors hinted that the injuries were not just from fists or blunt force, but that something else had been done to him. If true, this revelation changes everything. It would mean that King was not only beaten, but deliberately poisoned, making the attack far more sinister than anyone first imagined. Immediately, outrage erupted. Who could orchestrate such a methodical attempt to destroy someone barely 19 years old? Theories multiplied at lightning speed. Some pointed to prison gang retaliation, others to ongoing rap feuds, and still more whispered about shadowy figures with power and influence who wanted King silenced forever. The suspicion grew stronger when an anonymous account claimed this was bigger than prison politics. Screenshots of alleged private messages went viral, insisting the goal had always been to silence King permanently because he knew too much. Industry secrets, corrupt officials, dirty money. No one knows exactly what he was holding on to, but the implication is that his silence was worth more to some than his life. The paranoia only deepened when T.I. himself broke down before cameras, his bravado crumbling as he shouted, "They're trying to destroy my family. They don't want King to live because he knows too much. But I promise you, if my son doesn't make it, the truth will come out." That one statement was enough to spark chaos across social media, as millions debated what information King might have uncovered. Tiny has become the emotional anchor in this nightmare. A heartbreaking video shows her standing outside the ICU doors, pressing her palm against the glass, whispering through sobs for her son to come back. That footage has been watched millions of times, resonating across the globe as the image of a mother begging for the return of her child. But even her pain cannot shield the family from fear. Allegations of hospital sabotage surfaced when a grainy CCTV clip appeared on the dark web, showing two masked men briefly tampering with equipment near King's bed before vanishing. If real, it suggests that even within the hospital, he is not safe. The Harris family has now surrounded King with private security, while police patrol the corridors around the clock. Tiny herself admitted through trembling lips that she was terrified to leave her son's side, confessing, "I don't trust anyone right now." Celebrities continue to weigh in. Some send prayers, others pour gasoline on the fire with cryptic statements. One rapper posted that King was targeted because he wasn't afraid to speak the truth, claiming, "This is what happens when you go against the machine." That single post reignited speculation about what secrets King may have been holding and whether his silence was part of a larger cover-up. Online forums are filled with theories, ranging from industry betrayal to government corruption, each one darker than the last. For fans, it has become an obsession. They refresh their feeds endlessly, waiting for updates that never seem to come, clinging to any shred of news while watching the clock tick mercilessly. The longer King remains in a coma, the more intense the anger becomes. Protesters are already planning marches at the prison where the attack happened, demanding accountability from officials who have offered only vague statements. Anonymous groups online are threatening to expose names, leaks, and files if King doesn't survive. The threat of retaliation looms heavily over the rap world, with rival camps exchanging subliminal threats that suggest blood may be spilled in vengeance. One chilling anonymous post read, "If the prince falls, the kingdom burns." A warning that King's death could ignite violence beyond anything the industry has seen. For now, all the world can do is wait. Doctors continue their fight, family members continue their vigil, and millions continue their prayers. But the truth is undeniable. Whether King survives or not, this tragedy has already changed everything. The Harris family has been shattered in full view of the public. The rap industry has been forced to confront shadows it cannot ignore. And fans everywhere have been left haunted by the image of a young man who went from living loudly to lying silent, caught between life and death. This is no longer just about one boy in a hospital bed. It is about fame colliding with danger, about secrets too heavy for one teenager to carry, and about the brutal cost of living in a world where betrayal lurks in every shadow. The haunting reality is that even if King wakes up, nothing will ever return to the way it was. His body may heal, but the scars, emotional, physical, and cultural, will remain forever. And if he doesn't, his name will live on not just as a tragic headline, but as a symbol of the dangers of fame, power, and the unforgiving weight of secrets in the world of hip-hop.